Hi everyone, my name is Nandita Gupta and I'm a petite Indian woman with long black hair wearing lilac today. Now 5 years ago, I was on a party boat, a Bollywood dance party happening right here in Seattle on Lake Union. Now for those of you who know me, I love good Bollywood music. So there I was grooving, having the time of my life, and that's when I knew this was a good first date. And then suddenly, everything changed. My chest started seizing, my lungs were burning. I couldn't breathe. So I frantically looked around at the source of this problem, and lo and behold, somebody was smoking. I was having an asthma attack. So I quickly find my bag, dig out my inhaler, take a quick hit. And I'm trying to act casual because I'm still on a date. So I mumble something to my date and I bolt up the deck to get some fresh air. So I'm holding on to the railing for my dear life, breathing, letting my lungs settle, staring out at the Seattle skyline. And I turned and I saw that he'd followed me up. So I turned to my date and I said, "Are you sure you want to do this? You don't know what you're getting into. Are you sure you want to date me?" Because here's what I was thinking about in that moment. His life would be so much easier if he was dating someone more normal. And here's what I mean by that. No more triple checking the air quality before making plans. No more canceling plans last minute because the air quality changed. My sister got married in India last year, and I couldn't make her wedding. Why? Because the doctor told me that it was dangerous for me to travel back home. Not uncomfortable, dangerous. That's not an inconvenience. This is a life shaped by something invisible. So here I was, listing out every reason why he shouldn't date me, why he should stay away. And you know what he said? He looked at me and he said that he fell for me and all of me, and that my experiences, including my disability, made me who I am. He wouldn't change a thing. So 5 years later, we're married. So clearly, this deck conversation didn't scare him off. But here's what I've been thinking about ever since that night on the deck. I was the one who saw my disability as a barrier, not him. I was scaring him away, or trying to scare him away, from something I hadn't yet learned to see differently myself. And back then I didn't have the language for it. All I knew was, here are places I can't go to, these are some experiences that are closed off to me, here are some things I can't do. And I carried that for a very long time. And it's truly taken me years to internalize this. Nothing was wrong with my body. Nothing was wrong with me. It was the world that hadn't included me. And that is what I want to talk to all of you about today. That's what I want to discuss with you today. This imprint, this magic happens when the world is designed to be accessible, where everyone can truly show up in their most authentic self. And it's measured by the people who feel seen and heard, because we showed up. And so let's explore this question today. How might we truly build an inclusive world when no one is left out regardless of their disability? Now, when I say disability, what comes to mind? A lot of people think permanent disabilities, someone who might be using a wheelchair, someone who might be using a cane, extremities. But disability is so much bigger than that. So picture this, a small, charming village and rough and uneven cobblestone streets. And where the sidewalk meets the street, a hard edge. No slope, no transition, just a hard edge. A young mother is maneuvering a stroller with her 2 children One of them is crying, the other one's pulling at her sleeve. Oof, she's struggling. She's struggling to get the stroller over to the curb. A couple is carrying 4 oversized suitcases, dragging them across the street. One of them hits the curb. Domino effect, everything goes flying. They're sweating, they're apologizing, they're stressed. How are they going to make the flight? And finally, a woman in a wheelchair. She rolls up to the curb and just stops because there's no way up. Now she has to go all the way down, go around, and something that should have taken her 10 seconds is going to take her 10 minutes. 3 completely different people, 3 completely different situations, but they're all experiencing the exact same barrier. And the environment is creating this barrier. The mother, that's a temporary disability. She's only using the stroller for a few years. The young couple, that's a situational disability. That's just for this one flight. And finally, the woman in the wheelchair, that's a permanent disability. But the curb doesn't care. It's the same exclusion for all of them. Now, I want you to picture the exact same scene, but with one small change, a curb cut. So instead of the hard edge, imagine a smooth and sloped transition for where the sidewalk meets the street. Now what happens? The young mother with the stroller easily go right up. The suitcases, they glide right over, and the woman in the wheelchair just crosses. 10 seconds done. Boom. And that's the beauty of what happens when we design for disability. If there was a grandfather using a walker, if you had an injured ankle and you're struggling to climb up a step, when you design for disability, you design for everyone. And that's the beauty of this. It's all about making those small changes and making those changes. And that actually is called the curb cut effect, where a solution that's designed to help one group of people ends up benefiting everyone else. And guess what? You're going to need these curb cuts someday. If not permanently, then maybe temporarily, or just in certain situations. I know I do. Now, a quick show of hands. How many people here are in a relationship or have ever been in a relationship? All right. Oh, we have a good crowd. Okay. Now keep those hands up if you've ever had a fight about chores. Oh, I see you. Yes, I see you. Okay. Keep those hands down. Put those hands down. So pretend you're me. You're in the middle of doing something. Maybe you're watering your plants. And your husband walks up to you and says, "Hey babe, I'm going to go work out. Your mom called, so make sure you reply to her. The landlord sent an email, so respond back to that. Oh, and make sure you take the chicken out of the freezer. I'm going to cook later. And your prescription's ready, so make sure you pick that up. Oh, and the laundry's ready, so make sure you put your clothes away. I sorted them for you. And yeah, I'm going to go, so I'm headed to the grocery store. If you need something, let me know. Bye." Okay, how many remember everything on that list? Wow, no hands. Okay. How many remember maybe half, 50%? All right. How many remember maybe one thing and then just forgot everything else? Yes, raise those hands proudly. Yes, that's me. So he thought he was being helpful. He's like, well, I was being efficient. I was telling you everything so you can plan your day. And I thought I was failing. Why can't I just remember things like a normal person? But here's the thing. I have ADHD. So my brain doesn't process these long verbal lists. But you know what it loves? It loves checkboxes. My brain will move mountains for that little checkbox. And the minute we figured that out, magic happened. No more fights, no more frozen chicken. He just sends me a list, I check things off. Everyone's happy, yay! So what changed? Did my ADHD suddenly disappear? No. Did I develop better memory? No. the environment changed. So we adjusted how we communicated. Earlier, when my husband was rattling off this list at rapid speed, the way the information was getting to my brain just didn't match the way I process it. But the minute we adjusted that, I wasn't disabled anymore. I was empowered. And guess what? Most of you just experienced that as well. You may not have ADHD, but the environment that I created, rapid, one time only, and completely verbal, disabled you from succeeding. And that doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. It just means that we need to be mindful of the environment we create. Because if this environment is only built one way, it excludes everybody else who doesn't fit the mold. And guess what? We all process information so differently. And so it's super important to be mindful of how might we really create that environment for everyone. It's all about making those small changes that can create massive impact. But here's the thing I've noticed, not just in myself, in all of us. We forget. Hey, you just saw me forget an entire grocery list. We forget. And it's not malicious, it's not intentional, but we just forget that not everyone moves through the world the same way we do. And what might feel effortless to someone could be an invisible barrier for someone else. And that's why inclusion has to be intentional. It's not a training, it's not a checkbox, it's not a one and done. It's a lens. It's a lens that you pick up every single time. You walk into a room, have a conversation, build something, go to work, do anything. It's a lens. You have to be intentional, and it has to be intrinsic. Because what happens when we forget? What happens when we don't pick up that lens? Someone feels it. They feel the absence. They feel the oversight. They feel that moment that someone built something and just didn't think about them. And I know what that feels like. I know some of you know what that feels like. But I also know the feeling when someone does include you. I'd love to share a story that truly changed my perspective of what intentionality can do. So a few years ago, I was a UX researcher at Zoo Atlanta, and our goal was to build an inclusive experience at the zoo for everyone, but with a focus on people with vision disabilities. And let me let you in on a little secret. I thought I understood who I was designing for. I did not. Vision disabilities isn't just one thing. How we talked about making assumptions, that it's all about permanent disabilities. It's not. It's a spectrum. So you could have 10 people standing in front of the exact same elephant exhibit and experiencing something completely different. One might see the elephant in shifted, muted colors. One might only see half the elephant. And someone else might not see anything at all. And our goal was to build an experience that truly honored every single one of them. So what did we do? We went out there into the community and we asked questions. We truly wanted to understand what would it even mean to design this experience for the community. And we have a saying in the disability community, nothing about us without us. And that is something we absolutely followed in this project. And magic happened. That decision, that intentionality changed everything about what we built. And at the end of the project, I had a participant walk up to me and say something that has just stayed with me ever since. Thank you for making us feel seen, for making us feel included, and that our experience at the zoo matters just as anyone else's. That's what intentionality does. It doesn't just build better products. It doesn't fix broken experiences. It tells someone, you belong here. We thought about you. You matter. And that's the imprint I want to leave in this world, but that's also the imprint I want all of us to leave as well. So, let me bring this in full circle. Do you remember the way I started? Hi everyone, my name's Nandita Gupta, and I'm a petite Indian woman with long black hair. I didn't start that way because that was a fun icebreaker. I started that way because I didn't want to assume that anyone watching me can perceive exactly what I look like. That small action was my way of ensuring that nobody felt like an afterthought. You have the same power. Each and every single one of you watching this right now, you have the same power to make someone feel heard, to make someone feel seen, to make someone feel included. Starting with your very next action. Maybe it's including captions on the next video that you post. Not just for the parent who's watching while their baby sleeps, but also for the person watching on a noisy train. Maybe it's including 5-minute breaks between meetings, just to give everyone's brains a moment to breathe and reset. These small actions matter more than you know. There is nothing wrong with you. You are perfect the way you are. It's the world that needs to change. It's the environment that needs to change. And maybe someone in this room needs to hear that today as well. Because inclusion is a choice. It's a choice that we make over and over again, every single day. And it leaves behind something that outlasts all of us. It leaves behind this feeling that someone has, whether it's for the first time or the 100th time, that someone thought about them and that they matter. And that's the imprint I want all of us to leave. Thank you.